Welcome back. This is the second lesson recording for IM1, February 5th, 2021. Okay, now we are going to be solving two-step equations. Okay, so now the equations are gonna get a little bit more complicated, but we can do this. Okay, so we do the same process. And I know some of you are saying that I can do this by guess and check. No, please do not do that by guess and check, because you need to learn this skill so that you can do more complicated problem easily without having to sort of relearn something new altogether. Okay, so all right, so now the first thing you need to do is you need to be figuring out, in order to find x, remember the goal is to get to x is equal to some number. Okay, so we want to isolate 8x, the variable x by itself, with x is equal to with some number on the right. That means we need to be getting rid of these 2, and we need to be getting rid of this, not 5, but it is -5. Okay, so these 2 are the numbers that we need to somehow get rid of, so that we will end up with x is equal to. So those are the 2 things that we need to get rid of. However, we need to be thinking about, okay, what is 2 doing, what is -5 doing, and what is doing what to x first. Okay, so when we are undoing things, just like when you are unwrapping a gift from, say, from a friend, you need to start by undoing what was done last to it. Okay, so for example, if it was put in a box first and then it was wrapped, in order to get to the present, you need to unwrap it first, unwrap the wrapping paper, and then open the box, right? So whatever it was done last to it, you need to undo first. So in undoing, we need to be thinking about what is being done to x first. Is x being subtracted by 5, and what is 2 doing to x? 2 is being multiplied to x. Okay, 2 is being multiplied to x, and then it is being subtracted by 5. Now multiplication, it has the higher order of operation. That means multiplication, it happens before addition, subtraction, and so multiplied by 2 happens first, then followed by subtract by 5, right? So that's the second thing that was done to x. That means in order to undo everything, we need to start with the very last thing that was done to it. That's the second thing that was done to x, that is subtract by 5. So we need to get rid of this subtract by 5 first. How do I get rid of this subtract by 5? Same thing. If x was subtracted by 5, we didn't want this -5, then what did you do before? We added 5 to both sides, right? Then this -5 plus 5 would go away to 0, and on the left hand side of the equal sign, you're just left with 2x plus 0, but I don't even have to write 0, because adding a 0 to anything does not change its value. On the right hand side of the equal sign, 8 plus 5 is 13. Okay, so then now you need to be thinking about, okay, what is 2 doing to x? 2 is not adding to x or subtracting to x, it is being multiplied to x. How do I undo multiply by 2? That's divide by 2. So you divide both sides by 2, then that becomes my giant 1, and it goes away to 1x is equal to 13 divided by 2. 13 cannot be divided by 2, it's actually just a decimal or fraction, 6.5. So 1x is 6.5, or 6x is 6.5, or if you want to represent it as a fraction, you can represent it as 13 over 2, or 6.5. Alright, okay, what about this problem? Okay, same thing. Alright, you need to be thinking about what is happening to x. X is being first, what is this -5 doing to x? Is it subtracting 5 from x? Or when there is no operation between a number and a variable, the default is multiplication. So there is a multiplication dot right there in between. So negative 5 is being multiplied by x, and then afterwards 7 is being added to that. So the first thing it's being done to x is multiplied by negative 5, then it was then added to 7. Okay, so in order to undo, again, we need to tackle the very last thing that was done to x, and that is adding 7 to it. So we need to get rid of this 7, positive 7. How do I do that? I subtract 7 from both sides. And when I do that, you are left with negative 5x is equal to 22 minus 7 is 15. Okay, now notice that it's getting simpler. Okay, if you do something different, it's not going to get simpler. Okay, so now I need to get rid of this negative 5. What is negative 5 doing to x? There is multiplication, so how do I undo multiply by negative 5? I need to divide by negative 5. And whatever I do to one side of the equal sign, I need to do to the other. And this becomes my giant one and goes away to 1x, or same as x. So 15 divided by negative 5. 15 divided by 5 is 3. And 15 divided by positive divided by negative is negative. So x is equal to negative 3 is my solution. What about this problem? Okay, so now remember, order of operations say parenthesis or grouping symbol is always first. That means you want to try to simplify whatever is inside the parenthesis always. Okay, but can we do that? 4x minus 5. Can I do anything with 4x minus 5? No, I cannot do that because 4x and negative 5, they're not like term because of the variable x. Okay, there's a variable x being multiplied to 4. So this is not just 4 minus 5. This is 4x minus 5. So I cannot do anything with the inside the parenthesis. So the only way I can get rid of this parenthesis is if you see negative 3 is being multiplied to the whole thing of 4x minus 5. So there is this multiplication right there. Even though it's not written, the default is multiplication when there is no operation between a number and another number. Okay, so that means I can distribute by applying this, multiplying negative 3. Remember, there is multiply, so it's negative 3 is being multiplied to 4x. That becomes negative 12x. And to that, you are adding negative 3 multiplied by negative 5. Negative 3 multiplied by negative 5. 3 times 5 is 15. Negative times negative is positive, so it's becoming positive 15. So negative 12x plus 15. We have just simplified the left-hand side. Okay, and we have gotten rid of the parenthesis at the same time. Is equal to 15. We don't do anything to the right-hand side of the equal sign because we haven't done anything to it. We just write it down. Now at this point, all right, so again, as always, our goal is to get to x is equal to. So we want to get rid of this negative 12 and we need to get rid of this 15. Which one do I get rid of first? Do I divide by negative 12 first, or do I subtract 15 first to both sides first? Well, as always, we need to be thinking about what is happening to x. X is first being multiplied by negative 12, and then whatever the result is, it's being added to 15. So the last thing that was done to x is add to 15. That means we need to tackle that add to 15 by subtracting 15 from both sides. And when I do that, 15 minus 15 is 0. So it goes away to plus 0. And on the left-hand side becomes negative 12x is plus 0, or we don't even have to write that. 15 minus 15 is 0. Okay, students panic when they see a 0. That's okay. All right, 0 is just a number. Okay, so then at this point, what do I have? I have negative 12x. I don't want negative 12x. I want just x. So I need to get rid of this negative 12. What is negative 12 doing to x? Negative 12 x means there is negative 12 lots of x. So 12 is being multiplied by x. That means how do I do multiply by negative 12, you divide by negative 12. Whatever I do to one side of the equal sign, I do to the other. And that becomes my giant 1. And it goes away to 1x or x. 0 divided by anything. You have nothing and you're dividing into negative 12 groups. It's still a nothing. So x is equal to 0. 0 is the only solution for x. That's what it's saying. Okay, now the numbers are getting a little bit more complicated. But because we've been doing it algebraically, you don't have to rely on guessing and checking. You just do the same steps that you've been doing. Okay, what do I do? Right, the first thing I see is parentheses. Okay, I need to try to simplify the parentheses first. X minus 1. I cannot do anything with that. However, I know that 4 is being multiplied to x minus 1. So 4, the whole thing. So what I can do is I know that I can multiply 4 to each of the parts inside the parentheses. So I multiply 4 times x, that becomes 4x. And 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. Okay, and is equal to 2x minus 7 is on the other side. Okay, now look at this equation. We have 2x minus 7 is equal to 4x minus 4. Remember, the goal is to get to x is equal to some number. It does not matter whether x is equal to some number or x is equal to some number on the left hand side or the right hand side. I don't really care as long as x is by itself. That means notice that I have variable x on both sides of the equal sign. I do not want that. I need to get rid of one or the other. Okay, just the same way, if I didn't want this negative 7, what did you do? You added 7 to both sides. So if I say don't want this positive 2x, what do you think I can do? I subtract 2x from both sides. Okay? Because when I do that, 2x minus 2x, that's just 0. And then you still have 7 is equal to 4x minus 2x is just 2x minus 4. And we don't even have to put this 0 there. 0 minus 7 is same as negative 7. So I am going to erase that. Now this is a format that we know how to solve. 2x minus 4, x is first being multiplied by 2 and then subtract by 4. So I need to tackle this minus 4. How do I get rid of this minus 4? I add 4 to both sides. And that goes away to 0, and you're left with 2x is equal to negative 7 plus 4 is negative 3. Okay, now I don't want 2x, I want just 1x. So to do that, I need to be thinking about how can I undo what 2 is doing to x? 2 is multiplying to x. So what is the opposite of multiplied by 2? That's divide by 2. So you divide both sides by 2, and you are left with negative, this becomes giant 1, negative 3 over 2. So we have just figured out what x is equal to. Okay, there's no way you'd have guessed from doing the guess and check. Okay, so again, that is the power of algebra. Okay, so make sure you're solving algebraically, not doing guess and check. This is the original problem that I posed. Okay, so how do I solve this? Well, we know how to. First thing is I need to try to get rid of this parenthesis, but I can't simplify inside. So the only thing I can do is multiply this positive 3 to each of the parts inside the parenthesis. So that becomes 3 times 2x is 6x. 3 times 5 is plus 15 is equal to 4. But I still have this 3x that I haven't touched, so I need to put that down as well. Then I notice that these two are like terms. So 3x plus 6x is 9x plus 15 is equal to 4. I subtract 15 from both sides, and that leaves me with negative 11 is equal to 9x. And then divide both sides by 9, and you get x is equal to negative 11 over 9. a number that you would have never been able to guess.